At this time, I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee public hearing for September 23rd, 2020. This is the meeting we have for anyone from the general public to call in and ask any questions they might have regarding the warrant articles for the special town meeting on October 6th. The Finance Committee has already reviewed the warrant articles with the town managers. We may or may not have many questions at this time. Tonight is more for anyone from the community to ask their questions that they have. If you have any questions, please call the number. I believe it's on the screen, but it's 978-771-0819. Okay, how this will work tonight, we'll address each warrant article individually. I'll check on with the phone operator to see if there's anyone from the public that would like to speak to the article. Anyone from the public that wants to speak will have to state their name and address for the record. After that, I'll open it up to the committee for questions. After discussion is completed, the Finance Committee will vote on our recommendations as to how to proceed on the article. I'll share the article on the screen. I'm sure it'll be hard to see on the TV or whatever, but if you could look it up on the town's website, that'd be great. Okay, so first off, I would look for a motion to waive the reading of the warrant articles.
So moved.
Dave?
Second.
And a second. Okay, well, in all votes, we'll have to do a roll call vote. So, Tom? Mr. Cook is on mute.
Aye.
Okay. Jason?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
I don't believe Susan made it yet. Okay, so Dave?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Okay, so waiving that, let me now project or share my screen. That's it there. Oops, what I did there. Okay, jumping right in. Article 1. Give us a quick summary, Mr. Town Manager.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just briefly on Article 1, this seeks to transfer $525,442 from within the FY20 budget to a budget line item that we've determined to be surplus, and with transferring funds to line items that will be in need of funding during FY21. The $525,442 is available within Treasurer unclassified principal maturing debt. The reason why these funds are available, funds were originally appropriated in the FY21 budget for the debt service to fund a new DPW school maintenance facility. Because of the need to make adjustments within the budget because of COVID and to balance the budget, which we'll talk about in the next article, funds were taken from this line item as well as interest maturing debt to do that. And the DPW school maintenance facility project will be postponed until FY22, where we hope to take it up either as a total project or a phased project if finances allow. So just quickly going through these items. The first item that we seek to transfer money into is sick leave buyback. The transfer of funds will be used for future liability and benefits of sick leave buyback and accrued vacation. We have some retirements that will take place within FY21 that we did not anticipate, and we want to have sick leave buyback funds set aside for that. Under town manager operating and professional services, we're seeking $27,500 be transferred into this fund. The reason for that is has two expenditures. The first is $7,500 for the annual fee for archive social software This is a software that will archive the town and school social media, which is needed since they are public records and they properly need to be stored. Then $20,000 will be provided to the North and Trahan Reuse Committee to hire a consultant to assist with review of the buildings, but also land use options for those parcels. Under town clerk operating supplies, that budget was depleted to fund supplies for the state primary. The $800 will replenish those funds since the town clerk uses those just for her general office supplies in her department. Elections and town meeting salaries, temporary part-time. I'm going to speak to that and the next one, overtime, together. Because we expect a large amount of voter participation in the upcoming presidential election, staff will be needed to work for early voting. We're going to be bringing in election staff to work during the days and whatever nights we're open and weekends to assist with early voting, but also mail-in voting. That was really time consuming during the primary and gave us an idea of what we'll be in for during the November election. Also overtime for staff that works for the town to work weekends and nights, again, to help with early voting and mail-in ballots. So we're seeking $19,500 for temporary part-time and $4,500 for overtime. Under office supplies, we're seeking $5,000, again, to cover expenses that we anticipate for early voting and mail-in ballots for the presidential election and to ensure that we have all the proper safety and health measures in place for the upcoming election. Under police department capital outlay, we're seeking a transfer of $100,000 into the capital outlay account to pay for a new chiller for the HVAC system at the police station. The current chiller there is 25 years old. It's past its useful life, and it will replace a piece of equipment that failed on a couple of occasions over the summer. We'd like to get the funding in place during this town meeting. We'll put specifications and a bid together to take place over the winter. Under town facilities, grounds, and capital outlay, we're seeking $50,000 to fund several items. The first within this amount, we're seeking $19,295 to replace the infield at Antonelli Field at Livingston Street. We're also looking to install or expand upon the irrigation system at both Antonelli and Ogden Fields for a total of $8,000. We're seeking to purchase a trailer and a leaf box for staff to use for cleanup of various locations in town, and that amount is $22,705. We're also seeking to transfer $36,600 into town facilities, grounds, repairs, and maintenance. This would be for general building maintenance of all town buildings and facilities, just basic upkeep of the buildings. I'm concerned that there'll be things we'll need to do in regard to COVID for our buildings that may not be reimbursable. So I just want to have extra funds going into FY21 in case we have some issues that arise beyond our normal repairs and maintenance. Town unemployment, I'm seeking $5,000 in this fund. The town has a couple of employees, former employees on unemployment, and we'll need additional funding in our account. Their unemployment is not due to COVID related issues. It was prior to COVID. School unemployment, we're seeking $75,000 for the remainder of FY21. There have been school employees that were laid off. Some were brought back, but there may continue to be layoffs within the school system, and we just want to have funding within this budget in case something happens over the next year that causes further positions to be impacted. And then finally, under streetlights, we're seeking $51,542. to help pay down a short-term borrowing that we did this past year for the streetlight conversion project when we converted all our lights to LED lighting. The short-term borrowing was for $499,000. It was authorized by town meeting a little over a year ago. The payback was about 5 years using savings from our streetlight account. But this will assist in speeding up that payment and saving us interest costs over the long term. Again, the $525,442 is coming from principal maturing debt because we plan to delay and postpone the DPW school maintenance facility project.
Okay, thanks for the summary. So now I would ask Brian if there's anybody on the line.
We have no callers yet, Mr. Chairman, but there is a significant delay. And just an FYI, the number is not on the screen tonight.
It's not. Okay. I guess I could read it again while how long a delay are we thinking about?
It's about a minute.
About a minute. Okay. So the number is 978-771-0819. 978-771-0819. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Brian.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
All right, great. Yeah, so we'll wait a minute. While we're waiting, does anybody from the committee have a question? Any questions on this article?
Chairman, I have a couple of questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Through you to Richard, under the elections numbers that you're looking for, the 30,000, 19,000, and 1,500, are any of those funds reimbursable through the Secretary of State's budget on mail-in ballots?
Tom, we believe most of it should be and will be reimbursable, but we just don't know. So we will seek reimbursement for any of our expenses that we can. And hopefully all of these are reimbursable and they will just, eventually close to free cash at the end of the year. But we want to have the money in place just in case some or all or none of these funds are reimbursable. We just want to be able to have them in place.
Mr. Chairman and Richard, I asked that question is because I just read a piece on the state and the Secretary of State Galvin asking for additional money to reimburse the cities and towns. I think he's asking for an additional $1 million that is related to the mail-in ballots. He has a budget now for reimbursement to the cities and towns. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I may, Mr. Chairman, you're right, Tom. So far, the town clerk has done an excellent job staying on top of our expenses, and we've received approval. We think we're going to receive approval to be reimbursed for a ballot box that we bought. We've received, like all cities and towns, kits for each of our precincts for that have PPE for such as hand sanitizer, wipes, masks. They're going to provide us with additional sneeze guards for all the precincts. So the state's been helpful so far, but we're just not sure if that's going to continue as we move past these expenses.
If the money does come in, you said it goes into the general fund or it goes into free cash?
Yeah, we'll make sure all of our expenses are paid for and that there's no deficits within the elections that we had. And then depending on how DOR asks us to handle it, it's either going to go to free cash, or we do have an account that grant money in the past for elections has gone into for future elections.
Okay, thank you. And Richard, on the $525,442. That's
Mhm.
from a previous town meeting article relative to what you stated, DPW maintenance facility, and it's money coming on the principal and maturing debt.
So-
Have you cleared this with town council that for is coming from an unread article that was passed at the meeting?
And I apologize if it might have been confusing on my part. This money actually is within the FY21 budget. It's not a separate warrant article. This money was appropriated during the budget process and at town meeting within the treasurer unclassified principal maturing debt line item.
Right.
And it was set aside in preparation for us to come forward either, if we didn't have COVID, we probably would have come forward this October seeking a bond authorization for the project. And this money was set aside to pay for that debt service. Since we're not coming forward with a bond issue and we're going to delay the project, this money is available within the FY21 budget to be used, as we see in this article, to fund other line items within the budget, and then in the next article to help balance the budget. So it's not a separate article, Tom.
Okay, but you're taking it from an article that was passed at the meeting.
I'm taking it from within the budget, the FY21 budget.
Yeah, the unclassified, correct?
Correct.
But these items in this article are all unrelated to unclassified.
Correct. That's why I'm seeking town meeting approval.
Okay. I have one more question then. In our public hearings, when we reviewed the fiscal 21 budget, on the article of the maintenance school department facility at the DPW, we raised, expended about $2 million for design for that facility. Is that still available?
So that is in a separate article, Tom, and that has been used to design the project so far. It brought design up to a certain point, and it brought us up to conceptual design, and it's going to go further so we can be ready to bring it forward at a future town meeting.
Okay. Thank you for that. With regard to the money that was appropriated, I think you used the number $25 million for the entire facility complex being built. And then you gave the committee pretty much a detailed financing plan of how that was going to be financed with money from but surplus, et cetera, that it would not pretty much affect the tax rate. Is that still hold? I can't remember all the details, Richard.
Yep.
But you went into a lot of detail on the financing of the $25 million. And now that it may be put off, what happens to that financing plan?
Well, as we know, pre-COVID, that was the plan. We were going to use surplus funds as well as funds from this funding within the 21 budget, as well as money from the enterprise funds to help pay for it. Then now that COVID hit and our revenues will be adjusted, we're not touching any of our surpluses at the moment, but we may need to going into FY22 if finances are problematic. We anticipate FY22 to be the real problem year. It's hard to say, Tom, if we're going to be able to stick to that plan. If we can't stick to that plan, we'll continue to delay the project. What we are looking at, and the engineering and design firm is looking at, is phasing the project. They've come up with a plan that could phase the project over 2 phases, approximately $13 million for the first phase and $12 million for the second phase. The good news that exists right now financially is that interest rates are good. They're lower than they have that I've ever seen. So you'll be able to get more money for your borrowing. So that would help us. But until we get into the FY22 budget, understand the finances better, it's hard to say if we'll be able to stick to that plan in total. I'm hoping we can in some part. But if we can't, we'll just delay the project for the moment.
Okay, thank you for that answer.
Okay, I'll check with Brian now. Is anybody call in for Article 1?
We have no callers, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, does anybody from the committee have any other questions? No, okay. I'd look for a motion at this time on Article 1.
I'll move to approve Article 1.
I'll second that emotion. Did I say emotion?
I think we got you though. Yeah, Anna, all right. Roll
Sorry.
call. That's okay. All right, Tom, how do you vote?
No,
Sorry?
no,
No for Tom, okay. Jason,
I approve.
Rich,
Aye.
Donna,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. So that's a 5-1 vote for recommend adoption. Okay, Article 2. Roll up a little. All right, you want to give us a quick summary?
Sure. So Article 2 takes the remaining balance of unclassified principal maturing debt and funds within unclassified interest maturing debt, both totaling $839,533, and reduces it from this line item within the budget, essentially deleting it from the budget. The reason for that is because of adjustments to local receipts since COVID. We had a chance to look at our fourth quarter revenue, look at revenues overall, and we reduced overall local receipts $1,449,331. Just quickly, within that amount, we reduced motor vehicle excise, $353,000. We reduced hotel motel tax, $658,891. And we reduced meals tax, $261,555. Those were the major components that were reduced. There were a few others that were reduced. And the reason for the reduction was based on the collections that we saw in the fourth quarter of FY20. The way we made up this reduction in revenue was in a few areas. First, new growth is going to be higher than we projected. So that helped fund $398,785 of this shortfall, projected shortfall. Our state and county charges were less than we projected. I projected a 10% increase, and they didn't come in at that level. So that allowed us another $211,013. And then if you take this $839,533 from the budget, that balances the FY21 budget and addresses that reduction in local receipts. So this amount takes care of that.
Okay, given that we're about a minute behind, I'll ask the committee first if they have any questions on Article 2. No questions, okay. I guess I'll give another 30 seconds or so. Brian, do we have any callers?
We have no callers, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay, I guess I will look for a motion if nobody has any questions.
I'll move to adopt.
Okay, we get a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Tom, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. Oh, Donna, sorry, left you out.
That's all right. I was gonna get my thing in there. Aye.
Sorry, I
No worries.
lost track of what I was doing here. All right, that's unanimous 6-0. On to Article 3. Let's scroll down here. Richard, do you want to give us a quick summary?
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This article raises and appropriates $79,472.35 to pay for outstanding bills from the previous fiscal year. We are able to raise this money because of additional funds from new growth, a new growth projection. The first item is Middlesex Retirement, $9,265.23. This is for employees who have been deployed into the military, and we are responsible for their retirement contributions. For Charles J. Zaroulis, we just didn't carry enough money over sufficient to pay senior town council's last bill, and this amount of $3,328.33 is the balance that we owe. Unemployment Tax Management Corp., this is our unemployment invoice. This happens to cover March, April, May, and June. When we originally received this invoice from the Commonwealth, it was $116,000. Challenged on many claims that were on the invoice because of where there was a rampant amount of fraudulent claims within unemployment. The bill did not get rectified until July. We received it after the fiscal year. And this is the new amount that we owe for unemployment, mostly school employees. National Grid, $5,313.89. Again, this was a bill that came in after July 1, and we didn't carry sufficient funds over for it. For town top party rental, this was for renting the stage at town meeting. Because town meeting was later than normal, this bill didn't come until later, and we just didn't set aside funds. Same thing with Country Press. This was for the typesetting of the annual town report and the printing of a handful of copies for us to keep on record. That bill, sufficient funds were included to pay this bill. That's it.
Okay. Again, I'll start with the committee. Anybody have any questions on Article 3?
I have a question. Mr. Montori, have we finalized that unemployment tax management stuff, or are there still mysterious claims?
So we are still contesting some claims, but this is the highest amount we would owe. We're not going to pay this bill until all the claims have been addressed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I'm going to wait a few more seconds here, a minute.
Mr. Chairman, we do have a caller on the line.
Okay, put them through.
Caller, you're on.
Hello, I was trying to call in, but I had got sent to the voicemail, so I called back and you answered. Unfortunately, I didn't hear what the explanation for the Charles Zaroulis charge on Article 3 was.
Can you, sorry, caller, would you mind stating your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, Jonathan Rickard, 220 Cart Path Road.
Did you get that, Melissa? No, could you say that again? Sorry.
220 Cart Path Road, Jonathan Ricker.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, on that particular bill, that's for senior town council. His June invoice, we set aside funds for his anticipated June invoice. It doesn't normally come in till July. And we just didn't set aside enough funding for the amount. The bill actually was here. The bill was for $4,333.83. We set aside obviously less than that. This is the balance that we owe.
Fair enough.
Do you have any other questions?
I do not on Article 3.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? Do we have any other callers?
We have no other callers as of now, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I would look for a motion on Article 3.
I'll motion to,
Sorry, let's start over. Donna, do you have a motion?
I was going to motion to approve, yes.
Okay,
It's so bad.
and Dave second. Roll call vote. Tom, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well, unanimous, 6-0. Okay, on to Article 4. Oops.
Mr. Chairman, this article seeks to transfer $150,000 from certified free cash to fund sidewalk design, installation, and improvements. The $850,000 will go towards 2 sidewalk projects. $800,000 will fund a portion of a sidewalk on Shawsheen Street from Main Street to goal is to get to East Street. It'll be one project. The $50,000 will be used to design a sidewalk on Whipple Road. I have Brian Gilbert and Kevin Hardeman, the town engineer, and Brian's the director of public works, with us tonight to answer any specific questions and to talk more about the project if needed. But free cash was certified at $3,305,815. This is the only capital project that we're going to be bringing forward at town meeting. We thought long and hard about capital projects for this town meeting and decided to postpone capital projects that normally would be brought forward until FY22. We decided that this would be the only project to bring forward for a couple of reasons. We felt that there is a need and a want for sidewalks within the community. It's something that is really a top priority of the residents. We hear about it at most town meetings. We hear about it, whether it's through information sent to the Board of Selectmen at Selectmen's meetings. And the DPW went through a lengthy process to put together a pedestrian mobility plan, which is our sidewalk master plan. And the next street to undertake is Shawsheen Street. Under the plan, the goal was to address all of the main roads within the community. Shawsheen Street not only is a main road, it's a dangerous road that has many streets funneling into it. This area was one of the top priorities, if not the top priority of residents when they went to all of the public meetings on the pedestrian mobility plan. And it's the next priority for us to bring forward. The other reason why we brought sidewalks forward is because we know people are outdoor more, utilizing sidewalks and trails, wanting to get out to exercise. And we know that right now, bidding capital projects or construction projects is a very good environment. And we want to take advantage of that. And we feel if we can get this funding, get the project in final design, get it out to bid over the winter, we have an excellent chance of getting a bid under our estimate for this project. The total project is around $1.2 million. This $800,000 will help fund that. We have a balance of funds within our sidewalk, within other sidewalk articles, and we'll use Chapter 90 money to supplement whatever funds are needed for the project. But we feel it's the next sidewalk we want to address within our sidewalk master plan. And if Brian or Kevin, if you have anything you want to add to that, let me know.
All right, thank you for that update. Does anybody on the committee have any questions?
Sure. This is Rich. I have a question and a point. This past weekend, I had my wife take me out up and down Shawshene Street, and just as an FYI, counted the number of inlets and outlets from Main Street all the way down to East Street, and there's at least 33, give or take one or two. So there's a lot of offshoots. So the town manager is correct that there's a lot of offshoots coming off Shawshene. And the other question I have is, I believe we talked about using granite curbing with traditional pavement, correct?
Kevin or Brian, you want to address how we're going to construct this project, or we're thinking of?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
This is Brian. There we go. Yes, we currently our design is for granite curb and an asphalt walking path. We're going, once we get the design final, we'll value engineer this and look for areas where we may not even need a granite curb, but right now we are looking at granite curb and an asphalt walking surface.
And this would have to follow the ADA guidelines of having the ramp, the ramps and all that stuff at each street.
That's correct, and we would also look at crosswalks and the ADA and standards for crosswalks as well.
And I'm sorry, one final question, and you probably don't know it off the top of your head, but I'll ask anyways. You know what the delta in cost of between asphalt and concrete is per square foot or per section or mile or whatever? Is it humongous?
Kevin might be able to answer that. I don't have that off the top of my head. Kevin, you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we don't typically carry those numbers per square foot or things like that. But based on the sidewalks we've installed in the last couple of years, you're talking the difference between asphalt sidewalk to concrete. It's probably a 30 to 40% increase in the cost of the sidewalk.
Thank you. So pretty good size.
Do you have any other questions, Rich?
No.
Okay. Anybody else from the committee have any questions? Or comments?
I have a comment, Mr. Chairman.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm going to vote in favor of this article only because I know the area very well. I traveled it a lot. I also occupy the pathway behind the bus when I see all those children on all those cutouts standing in the street when that school bus picks up. So I think it's a added safety problem. The other concern I have, two concerns, is from Main Street to East Street. I believe that's the project in one of the projects. Is that correct, Richard?
I believe so.
Main to East Street.
East, yeah.
That's about 3.5 miles of roadway. So I would assume the sidewalk would be about 3.5 miles, starting at the Market Basket breakout cutout. The question I have, in the past, when we've done work on Shawshene Street, especially the sewer work, when it was performed, we all, Brian and Kevin, this is mostly for you. We've always had a difficult situation around the railroad tracks and the railroad crossing guards that come down the gates. So I would hope there would be some close coordination there, because it's cost us additional money when we did the sewer contract to try to accommodate B&M and their requirements crossing the railroad track. But I'm in favor of this project. I'm not sure we'll have enough money to complete the 3.5 miles, but whatever we get done, it's an improvement, at least for the safety of the children on those cross streets. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Tom. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Do we have anybody on the phone, Brian?
We do have a caller, Mr. Chairman, and we also have someone else who's trying to call in. I would just let the callers know that we only have one line, so you can continue to call and we will take your call, but we only have one line. Caller, you're on.
Hi. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Arthur Engelhard at 865 Chandler Street.
Okay.
Okay. So as an avid runner and biker, I love that this is on the docket today. This is great. I also like that doesn't drain our general free cash to nothing. That's awesome. My question about the design of it. Will the design include space for bicycling and cycling, or is it strictly like road to sidewalk?
Direct that to Mr. Hardiman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Currently, the design we're working on is just for the sidewalks and the curbing.
Got it. Thank you. And this is my first time listening on one of these, so maybe it'd be a silly question, but is our fiscal year aligned with the calendar year, or is it a separate schedule?
It goes July 1 to June 30.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling. Brian, did you say we had another?
Yeah, we do have another caller right here. Caller, you're on.
And if you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, good evening. My name is Oluwaseun Bayode. Address 81 Brightwood Road, Tewksbury.
Could you, I didn't catch the name. Could you repeat that?
Oluwaseun, spelled Oluwaseun.
Thank you. Any question?
No, I do not have a question. I just apologize for that in late.
I'm sorry, that broke up.
I said I do not have a question. I just dialed in. And apologies for calling late today.
But this, okay, so Brian, how he should watch on table?
Yes, I will communicate with that caller.
Okay. All right,
And we do have another caller on the line right now.
Okay, great. Could you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes. My name is Jonathan Ricker from 220 Cart Path Road again. Definitely having some difficulty calling in. I understand you only have a single phone. The other thing is there's about a 5-second delay between what's on the TV and what you guys are listening to live. So when you ask for callers, people
are behind. You have to leave 10 or 15 seconds for people to call in. But anyway, now you know. I do have a legitimate question on Article 4. It talks about $850,000 for sidewalk design. Is that an accurate statement? Is the $850,000 completely for design, or does that include any construction costs?
I'll direct that to town manager.
That includes construction.
Okay. Do we understand, is there clear as far as what we're allocating for a portion of that for design?
Kevin, is there any design funding in that, or is it all construction? I believe it's all construction.
Mr. Chair, the $850,000 was going to be split with $50,000 used for design and $800 for construction.
Okay. And the design was for the Whipple Road section.
Correct.
Yes.
Excellent. That seems reasonable. The way it was worded in the warrant just seemed like it was fair.
All right.
All of it. So, thank you.
Yep. Thanks for calling. Any other callers, Brian?
We have no other callers, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. And Ms. Wellman, did I see your hand up to ask a question or comment? I can't hear you.
Hi, no, I needed to unmute myself. Thank you so much. I'm Jane Wellman, 820 Shawshene Street. I'm a 20-year resident. I will reserve most of my comments, but I did have a question for Mr. Hardiman. I want to thank you and Mr. Gilbert for your work on this. I was at your workshops, and you did a great job engaging the community, and a lot of residents came out to those. So I remember that work that you did, and I understand the level of work that's gone into your plan for the whole town. And so I was excited to see this come up for a special town meeting. My question for you is, with your sidewalk design, does that include a tree lawn, or is it is it the curb and then the sidewalk directly, or is there any sort of strip of grass or whatever that you're planning? I just curious of how you will construct that.
Thank you. This is Kevin Hardiman. So we will be looking at each section individually to make sure that the design we come up with is the most effective for that section of roadway. If it entails having the curb and the sidewalk adjacent to each other, we would do that. But if it makes sense to have that grass strip, that's something we would do as well. So we'll have to look at the whole corridor. It's several miles long, so we may have separate treatments along the way.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. The geometries of this road, being one of the oldest roads in town, are certainly challenging, and so I can see with visibility and speeds and volumes, you're going to need to adjust where you can and what land is available as well. So again, I will reserve most of my comments for future meetings, but I want to thank you all for your consideration, and I urge you to recommend adoption of Article 4. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Brian, one last check on the phones.
We have no callers, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, then I would look for a motion on Article 4.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion, Rich with a second. Roll call vote. Tom, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye. And I'm really glad this is getting done. I'm very excited.
And Dave?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. That's 6-0. Okay, on to Article 5, which is also on the screen there.
So Article 5, Mr. Chairman, will be amended at town meeting to insert the sum of the amount of money from free cash that will go into the stabilization fund. As I mentioned, free cash was certified at $3,305,815. We will set aside $600,000 as we normally do to assist with any potential snow and ice deficit in the upcoming year. When you set aside the $850 for the Article 4 potentially passing. That leaves $1,855,815 to be transferred from free cash into the stabilization fund. As of June 30th, the balance in the stabilization fund was $655,900,199. By adding this amount, if it's approved at town meeting, we will have a balance in the stabilization fund to help us in FY22 and beyond if there are any financial problems or to address any capital issues. We will have $8,415,014.
Okay.
And just quickly, Mr. Chairman, I'm putting
Yeah.
together the handout for town meeting, as I normally do. It'll have explanations on all of the articles, all of the line items that are being addressed within this warrant, more detail on the sidewalk to ensure people understand how we're spending the $850. It will have all the balances and all of our funds, especially the stabilization fund, so residents have that and will have that prior to town meeting to digest the information.
Great. Okay, does anybody have any questions on
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, go ahead.
through you to the town manager, just on Article 4, for a second, when you have that handout at town meeting, will it say it's specific to Shawshene and part of Whipple?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
The other questions on Article 5? Free cash.
I have a question. Mr. Chairman, just a general question. Through you to Richard. Richard, the financial policy on free cash, did we at town meeting set aside the $650,000 already for the employee pension? I know in the past couple of years, we've been putting in $650,000. Did we do that at the annual special in May?
Yeah, we did that within the budget, Tom. We did that at the annual town meeting.
So is that money being raised through stabilization, free cash?
No.
I forget.
No. We've made it part of the budget, and it's built into our budget every year, and it's raised and appropriated within the budget.
Okay, but didn't we originally start out by taking that money from free cash or stabilization?
Yes, we did. You're absolutely right. That's where we originally started the fund.
So now it's in the tax rate.
Yes, now we just built it in the budget, so we don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Just a follow-up. We may want to reconsider that next year in the annual budget because of state aid and so forth. That's just a comment, Mr. Chairman. That $650,000, if it's in the tax rate, we may want to bring it back to the free cash or stabilization. That's just thinking out loud, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Okay, any other questions or anybody on the phone, Brian?
We have no callers, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we don't have any other questions. I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, since we don't have the amendment with the exact number in it, perhaps we should table this to time certain, the Finance Committee meeting prior to special town meeting.
Yeah, so what, I assumed that it was just going to be the way it is and it would be the total that's in the free cash. Is that not correct, Richard?
Yeah, so I will be amending it to transfer $1,855,815.
Because that's not a Scrivener's error, that's an amendment.
That's going to be an amendment.
Okay, so
If we wait till that night and just finalize the number just so we have everything in place.
okay, you want to put that in a motion, Dave?
So moved.
So the motion is to table to,
Time certain, the Finance Committee meeting prior to special town meeting.
okay,
One second.
second by Rich. Okay, roll call vote. Tom, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. So we'll table that to the pre-special town meeting. Okay. Article 6.
So Article 6 is seeking approval to take the following that are listed within the article and put them under the care and control of the Conservation Commission and to protect them in perpetuity. These are parcels that were identified by the Open Space and Recreation Committee of the town. These were part of the town's open space and recreation master plan as sites that should be put under the care and control of the Conservation Commission and permanently protected under Article 97 of the Massachusetts Constitution, which is the ultimate protection of land within a community for open space and conservation land. These parcels are parcels that have passive use, with the exception of Long Pond area, which is an active use by use of the pond. So this is something that is good for the community in protecting these areas. The town does not have any interest in developing this town-owned land at all. The abutters of this land within the town would like to see it protected, as well as, again, the Open Space and Recreation Committee.
Okay, thanks for the summary. Anybody on the committee have any questions on this article? If you're trying to speak, you're on mute.
Through you, I'm sorry, I apologize. Through you, Mr. Chair, to Richard. Two of these parcels, I believe two of them have walking trails on them, Richard?
Correct.
And who is maintaining those walking trails? The Conservation Committee or the town?
Really, the town with the assistance, and when I say assistance, I mean a lot of assistance from volunteers through the Open Space and Recreation Committee that we have. The town is fortunate that there is a group of very committed and energetic citizens who not only use these trails, but Tom, have gone out on their own time and at some time at their own expense to maintain them and ensure they're in proper order for use. So they help, but we have some community preservation funds that we've appropriated that we are going to use to fix the boardwalks, especially in the Chandler Wellfield area, and to help maintain other trails within the town's trail network.
Okay, so it'll come mostly from the Preservation Fund.
Yep.
Because I know in the Chandler Field, Mr. Chairman, I've walked that area because it was one of the sites considered for the new elementary school. And basically it's a well-wooded, treed area. And I think it's appropriate for open conservation land. I was more concerned about the charges that we would have for maintaining the trails. Thank you.
Yep.
I plan to vote in favor of this article.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions, or anybody on the phone?
We have no callers, Mr. Chairman.
No callers. Seeing no questions, so look for a motion on Article 6.
I'll motion to approve this.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call vote. Tom, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Jason?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. 6-0.
Love it.
I believe that's the last article. No callers, Brian?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Sharing. So I think at this time, we would look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Tom, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Donna.
Aye.
That's
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. 6-0. The public hearing is closed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Richard.
I don't think we have any other committee business unless anybody has anything. If
Mr.
not,
Chairman, I just wanted to, Mr. Chairman, just quickly, since free cash was just certified yesterday, I'll be putting an analysis together of the breakdown of free cash and retained earnings. I'll send that out to the committee over the weekend,
okay,
and it will be in the handout for town meeting.
excellent.
Just a question, do we know what time the meeting is before the town meeting? Just for so I know when I have to be there.
Yeah, it'll be a half hour before the start, and I can't remember if it's a 7 o'clock start or
It's 7 o'clock start.
Okay. Then we'll do ours at 6:30.
You'll have to post that, Rob.
Yep. I'll get on that the next day or two.
Just one.
Richard, is it going to be? Sorry, Tom. Is it going to be similar setup as the other town meeting, the last town meeting?
Yes, going to be set up exactly the same.
Okay, so then we'll probably meet up at the front like we did last time.
Okay.
In the front of the gym. Unless anybody has anything else, I think we're good.
One thing, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Where I was absent at the reorganization meeting, I want to congratulate you and David on your new position, David, and the up of you, Mr. Chairman, Rob, for another. And I would like to congratulate, even though Jason's not with us, as clerk. But I think, Rob, you've done an excellent job. I think you deserve the position. You did a good job in the last 3 years.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Thanks for your support.
You're welcome.
All right, with that, I'm going to say good night.
To do adjournment.
Bye.
Motion to adjourn?
Oh.
Can we do that? Do we have to do that?
I think we
Yes.
closed.
Close public hearing, so we have to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I got ahead of myself. All right.
That's all right, Rob. We got you. We got you, Rob.
After all that build up from Tom, and then I blow the whole.
You didn't stick the landing,
I
Rob.
didn't stick it. I thought it was over because I closed it. All right. Who made the motion?
I did.
Donna with the
David
second.
did.
All right. Roll call vote. Last vote here. Tom,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Donna,
Aye.
Dave.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
See you next week.
Bye. Good night.
All right, bye.
Bye.